Well, hey friends, I am so glad you're here. I don't want to take up a ton of your time today, but I just wanted to quickly share some of my thoughts and hopes and goals moving into a new year. Like I've said before, we are not in poverty. When you look at the grand scheme of the world, we are still in the top 5% based on our earnings. However, we do try to live off of a single income. I work part-time. I earn a little bit from YouTube now, but we still try to live month to month off of a single income, which is not a ton. It takes care of us and we are very blessed and very fortunate, but it's not a lot. And so we try to be thrifty and we try to be wise because there are things that we want, long term, like to invest in down the road. There are things that we want to save our money for and be able to hopefully one day see dreams realized that are just not attainable in this current season. And honestly, probably not manageable in this current season. We have 2 small children, we have job changes happening, we have commitments in our community, in our church, and there's just a lot of things. Right now, I don't think we could take on a farm as much as we want to, or more land to manage, or a larger garden. All of these things that maybe in 15 or 20 years, maybe before that, I don't really know, we would love to be able to say we are moving into that and taking on those responsibilities, but right now that's just not where we are. We're right where we're supposed to be and it's perfect and we're content. I don't want us to ever grow complacent in that, but we are very thankful for the things that we have. And so I just always want to put out that disclaimer that this does not mean that we are struggling. This does not mean that we aren't sure if we're going to be able to put food on the table tomorrow or today, because I know that that is a very real struggle in some households and in some parts of the world. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my New Year's hopes and goals. As always, I want to reduce waste. Decluttering is a big thing. I don't know if it's as much a fad anymore as it used to be here on YouTube, but in general in life, it is a constant task, a constant chore, if you ask me. I do not love decluttering. I am so glad that my channel did not get popular based off of decluttering, because as much as I appreciate the accountability that I find here on YouTube when I do declutter and take you along, I would not enjoy every single video needing to be something about that. I'm sure that my house would enjoy it. I would not. But the truth of the matter is, I really don't want things in my home that are not beautiful and that are not purposeful. I want everything here to have either a purpose or to be something that's pleasing to me, to us. With kids, that's obviously different, but helping them understand that too, is a goal of mine. I want them to better understand what is it that they really, really love, what is it that some of their favorite things, and just to eliminate a lot of the extraness, to really reduce it and bring it down to the stuff that they love most and use those things to the fullest. Get the most life out of them, get the most money's worth out of them. And that's what I want to do in my life too. I want to be very picky and very selective about what comes in and what stays in. I usually use true winter, which we're about to move into, as the time to go through each room of my house, really get it pared down and sorted through and organized. And yeah, so not really looking forward to that, but there will be a lot of peace that comes with it, I'm sure, from having less clutter around our house. As a lot of people do, I also would love to make more money, honestly. If I'm just being completely transparent, especially here on YouTube, I would love to make more money. I know that there is a possibility for that. It's not I work part-time at my daughter's preschool, and of course it would always be great to make more money doing whatever you do. But at the end of the day, you have to kind of look at who you're working for and what the goal is. I work at the preschool and I love it, but at the end of the day, it is a ministry. And so I don't want them paying me a whole ton of money for me helping with a ministry. I want that money to go as far as it can, doing the best that it can. And I just want it to be maximized. So I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on making more money there. Here, however, as much as I believe that this can be used as ministry, and I have so much enjoyed seeing how the Lord's used it thus far, I know that YouTube, at least to my knowledge, is not running low on funds. And so I would love to lean into my content creation here. I would love to lean in and see what the potential is here for this opportunity that the Lord has blessed me with. I really just would love to fully invest in what He has for me here and what He wants to use this channel for. It's been a very exciting ride so far, and I don't just simply want to make more so that I can buy more, or so that I can say I'm making more. Like, I want to make more in order to help my family and in order to be able to save for these things that I've previously spoken about. So definitely looking forward to seeing what all's in store on that front as well. Along with that, I would like to spend less. And if my husband is listening, he's probably saying, yeah, that one sounds great. But I've never been like a huge spender, but I do love thrift shopping. I love to find deals, and I would hope that making more would not lead me to spending more. I would also hope that decluttering my home and wanting only things that are beautiful and purposeful would help me to not want to bring more things in, right? So as much of a consumer society as we are, I really hope that I can kind of rein that in and just spend less, be more intentional about the things that I do buy, and make sure that our funds are going to the best possible place that they can. But that's not to say that everything I buy is going to be simply like groceries or items that are completely necessary, but I just want to take better control of our budget. We used to do a really good job of like reconciling it from month to month, and then we kind of got comfortable with what our budget was, and we got a better understanding of like what it felt like to spend the amount that we had to spend, and when we needed to save and what we needed to cut back on and do better on. And so then we just kind of got lax with actually looking at the budget, and we've agreed that we would love to be more intentional with our budget from month to month like we used to be as we head into this new year. So that's definitely on my list as well. I would love to continue learning more about self-sufficiency. So over the last couple of years since moving here, we have gotten chickens, built the coop, we've had several egg layers, and really benefited from that, especially during the warmer months. We have had a garden the last 2 years. This past year it was quite a bit bigger than what it was previously. I think I want to kind of pivot and change my direction with my garden. This past year it was a kitchen garden, so we did like a lot of different crops, but small amounts of each one, right? So you got some of a lot of stuff. This year I would like to pare down to the things that we really eat the most and do several rows of those. So probably like corn, potatoes, green beans. I definitely want a lot of tomatoes for pasta sauces and things like that. But then the rest of my garden, I really just want to do flowers. Like, I love cut flowers. For a long time, since we got married, I have wanted to have a you-pick cut flower garden. I don't know that it'll ever turn into that, but at least it would be you-pick for me and for my girls, and make some really great photo backdrops too. So I think that I'm going to explore that this year, along with still doing some things that we can put up and preserve for our family to eat on all throughout the year. I also got a bread maker for Christmas, so I'm excited to learn more about making our own loaf bread. I would love to venture into grinding my own wheat and creating my own flour. Like, there's just a lot of things in terms of cooking from scratch that I would love to learn more about and make more of like a habit, like make it more second nature so that I'm not always up against a learning curve. Not that it's something that I would do every single time that we need a loaf of bread. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to buying flour, I don't think, but it would just be really nice to know how to do those things and to have them in my back pocket, because ultimately we know that it's much healthier to do these things from scratch, and it's cheaper too. It goes further. Additionally, there is a friend that I have at church, and they are kind of starting a homestead. We have been discussing a cow share, so I don't know if we would actually venture into that. But I'm loving the possibility and the fact that I have found a kindred spirit that really wants a milk cow. So we will see. I don't know if like I said, I really don't know if it's realistic to think that that might happen this year, but I would absolutely love to have raw milk. Considered it for several years, so I'm very much looking forward to the possibility of that becoming a reality. I really would love to invest more in where we are. Like, every home that we've ever lived in, which this is now our fourth, we rented a basement apartment when we first got married for only like, after we got married, we both lived there for like 6 or 8 months. And then we bought our first home. We lived there for, I don't know, maybe like 15 months. And then we started building a home. We lived there for a little bit over it was like 2.5 years. So then we moved back here to be closer to family and to be able to make it on one income. We downsized a bit, cut our mortgage over more than half, and just, you know, a lot of great things played out so that we could get to where we are today. And the end of January will be 3 years since we started renovating. You know, we've just added our little touches to it all along the way, and I'm excited to continue in that. I think, you know, our battle has always been like, would we like more land? Well, yes, of course we'd like more land, but when might that be possible? And how much do we invest in where we're at before that is maybe a possibility, or if it's ever a possibility? And if it's not ever a possibility, then why don't we just make this place a home? And so it's just kind of always these things of trying to like weigh the pros and cons. Is that something that we would get a return on investment from if we were to sell this house? And you know, just, or like if it's a rental, is that something that's even necessary? But there's certain things that we have talked about investing in, and like regardless of whether we one day keep this house as a rental if we're not living here, whether we sell this house, or whether we live here for the rest of our lives until we die. We've talked about adding some landscaping. We've slowly added a little bit over the last year or so. We've talked about continuing to improve the garden. It really makes a difference when you've been in a home for several years, and I am seeing the fullness of that now that we've been here for 3. And as much fun as the new and the fresh, and even like new construction and the fresh smell of the wood and all of that, like, as fun and exciting as that is, it's such a thrill. It also feels really good to be in a place that feels like the truest sense of the word home. And that's what I found here. I have so many sentimental ties to this place, like for many reasons that I won't get into right now. But at the end of the day, what I really love about it is that I have reworked each room of this house over and over again. There's still certain things about this house that just irk my nerves because we don't have great storage, or because, you know, our girls will not share a bedroom, so we're maxed out on space. There's only one bathroom, which doesn't bother us too much yet. It may at some point, but so far it's not. Like, I would love a bigger master closet or a separate closet from our laundry room. You know, there's things, like I want more of a pantry. There's things here that I do not love. But I do love how I have hand stamped these living room walls, and we sanded down the mantle, and, you know, have just found the most functional ways for each piece of furniture to sit in these rooms. And we still continue to change it around every now and again, but there's just a lot here that has had a lot of thought poured over it, and now I feel like it's kind of in a place where it's like, this is so cozy, this is our cottage. And so I just really want to continue investing in this place for as long as we're here, and that to be something that we really take seriously this year, like I said, while also being wise about where to actually put our money and our efforts. Something that's not quite so tangible, but more, I guess you could say like spiritual or emotional. I really want to have a true sense of peace about commitments. The things that I say yes to, the things that I find myself taking part in and like devoting a ton of my time to. So as I previously mentioned, I do work part-time at my girls' preschool. I also do this YouTube thing. I am with my girls all the time. So I go to school with them, they ride with me, they ride home with me, and then we're home all afternoon. I serve at my church. You know, there's just a lot of things that like I want to reevaluate and say, okay, which of these is a good thing that like the Lord has called me to for this season, and I truly feel like He wants me to be here to accomplish this work, to see Him bringing things to fruition, to see Him performing miracles every single day. Or like maybe what are some things that I've been doing because He called me to that for a season, or because there was nobody else to really step up and do that, to serve in that role. But now He's calling me to put more of my time and attention to other things that not only is there nobody else to do, but maybe He's just uniquely gifted me to do those things. There's a bit of a balance, because in our own hearts, in our own time with the Lord, that's where those things are revealed. You know, it's not something that I could ask my husband to tell me, like, which one should I be doing? Which path should I take? It's just, I'm kind of in this situation where I have so many good things laid out in front of me on the table that I've been a part of for a while now, that I really do enjoy and really do love. And I just want to make sure that each place is getting the part of me that it's supposed to, and that nothing's getting cut short, that nothing's getting leftovers, and that I'm fully investing in and giving all that I can to whatever it is that I'm committed to. with that being said, I want to be more emotionally present with my children. I've never been one to be able to just like sit and play in the floor all day with them. Granted, my girls also really like to play by themselves and play with each other. So maybe I'm sure that the Lord just knew that about me and wired them to fit well within that. But I am often like busy around my home or coming up with creative ventures as I'm home with them. I have never been one that's been able to like sit well. If I sit, I fall asleep. That's why I can't watch movies. With that, I don't want to just be in their vicinity for their little years and for however long the Lord allows me to do this. I want to be investing in them, and I want to allow them to interrupt what I'm doing. I want to be emotionally present with them all the time. I never want them to feel like a bother. Like, I never want them to feel like they are second best to anything else in my life. And I really want to make sure that I'm prioritizing that, especially as they are getting older. I want that relationship that we have to continue to build, and I want to be able to pick up on little character things like teachable moments. I want to be able to see those without it coming to a head through like a huge meltdown. I want to be sensitive to these things all along the way. And I think that the best way to do that is to have true quality time and not just quantity time. And then lastly, I really want to take more pictures. I really want to take more high quality photos. I got a new camera for Christmas, which I have been loving. But what's really great about it is I also got an adapter, which gave me access to all of the lenses I've had for quite some time, but not been able to use because my previous camera had one jammed on it, so I've just kind of been limited to that one. But now I have some of my favorite lenses back at my fingertips, ready to be used at any given time, and I am not one to do like a ton of stage photos or, posed pictures, but I love candids. I love lifestyle and like journalism photography. So I'm very excited to just take my camera along with us more this year through our day-to-day and just have a whole lot more pictures of the season that we are in, as well as I would love to get them printed. Or my mother and my grandmother both got my mom and my grandmother both got one of those digital picture frames for Christmas, and I really like that too. So even if I don't get them all printed, maybe for my birthday or Valentine's or something in Mother's Day, I don't know, maybe I'll get that. Hint, hint. I've already told my husband this, but maybe I'll get one of those and I can just add the pictures to the digital photo frame. So I'm very excited about all of what 2025 has to offer. I think at the end of the day, what all of this boils down to is just focusing in on what's most important, what's most eternal, and that is the relationships that I have been blessed with, and really just trying to invest in those and trying to build up my home and the people who are within it and all around it. So I hope that you have found some things that maybe you want to try to incorporate into your new year as well. Hope you're having a great day wherever you're at, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.